and like, you're too noisy. And like, I said, you don't have to be around me.
Friendship may actually go beyond just relating on a superficial basis.
There's the adage that says, show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are.
There are some of us who are not very good at regular visit, but because they are friends,
you have to,
in order to maintain that friendship.
The emotional state of the parents is usually directly proportional to the emotional state of the children.
Hello viewers, welcome again to our favorite family show, The Living Room, right here on Equa Television International. My name is Amaka Ocheke, and we can see that the year is gradually coming to an end. And you wonder how this year just ran so fast and suddenly it's here. It's here. And we've been thinking and talking about it. And one of the things that seems to be an issue for many of us is ending the year well. People usually talk about the new year, how to start the new year and all that, but how to end it and make sure it ends well, it's an issue. And then we felt we need to talk about it and put it out there so that we too will have that mindset of ending the year well. So in the living room here with me to discuss this is Mrs. Ibi Namo. Ibi, you're welcome.
Thank you. It's been a while. Good
yes,
evening,
so
viewers.
it's been a long while.
Yeah.
And good to see you. So, what is it about the year ending? Why do you think we need to end it well? What is it about the end of the year? What's the big deal?
Well, there's this excitement when the year starts. You know, you're happy, you're jubilating, especially if you go for crossover night. You are excited that, oh, I've seen the new year. Oh, I'm so happy now. And then all the issues of the year starts rolling in one after the other. And you start wondering whether you were actually supposed to be happy that the year came, you know, especially if you have children that have to go back to school. Then school fees shoot up, especially this year. School
everything shot up. It wasn't just school
up,
fees.
Food was up, everything was up. So you were like, oh God, what happened now? Where is the joy that we started the year with? You know, so when you look back at all of it, and then you see that you are actually going to end this year, and you are wondering, how did you get here? The year came and it went so fast. But you know, the first month of the year or the second month, you are almost like, are you sure we're going to make it to the end? But here we are. This is almost the end of November. Before you know it, December is here and we start preparing for Christmas. And you're wondering how did it all happen? And so it is very important that you actually end it well now that God has helped you to this point. I think that's what it is about ending the year. And you know, ending it well means that first of all, well, I feel like you should start with the Thanksgiving. That through it all, you know, some of us when we look at the way the price of things went this year, it was more like, are you sure our children will continue to school? Are you sure we'll be able to make it? You know, sometimes I feel like, my car, will I be able to fuel it? You know, or a lot of times I actually fuel my car. I went to places with it, and
there was so much bad news this year, seemingly, that we kept hearing. Yes.
But here we are. God has helped us.
So one of the ways to end the year, you've already set the ball rolling, is Thanksgiving. I learned something from somebody this year, and I didn't do it fully, but I tried to keep a Thanksgiving journal Well, she she talked about journaling and other things, how you could do Thanksgiving. And one of the things I picked from her, which I decided to do, was everything that God does for me that I'm thankful for, write it on a piece of paper and put it in a container. I had a small box, or well, a small container I've kept this year. So all my Thanksgivings have been dropping. So I'm saying towards the end of the year, I'm going to open up everything and really give time to give God praise and thanks for all the things He has done. Because it's so easy to forget, the many things God has done for one. So how else can we do this Thanksgiving?
Yeah, you should. I feel like you should appreciate God as a family. During one of your devotion, you should kind of do a rewind of what has happened within the year, and ask your children if they have anything to thank God for within the year. Some family went through health challenge. Some family throughout the year you had no record of health challenge. I'm not saying this headache here and there, but I'm talking about serious health challenge.
Even headaches, so people die from headaches.
I know, but I'm just
yeah,
saying,
I know, I understand what you're
serious
saying.
health challenge some people have had to face. I met a lady yesterday, and she used to be a plus-size woman, and she was looking straight, and I was
Lost
like,
a lot of weight.
what happened to you? She said, it is God, that she thought that she wasn't going to make it till now. So if you are that kind of person, I think you need to sit down and look at the year and, as a family, and thank God for every bit of it. Look at January, what happened? At a point in January, you were thinking the children may not go back to school, but the children went back to school. It's enough to be thankful for. And then you went through the year. For some of us who are on salary, you're looking at your salary and you're looking at the month, and you're counting the days as if it will not end. Before you know it, the month has ended, another salary has rolled in, and you're able to buy food, you're able to you sort out
Take
some
care of the different
details in the house. So you should sit as a family and look at all of this, what God has done for. Because I believe it is God. If not for God, we wouldn't be sitting down here. So many people have to manage with death, the death of loved ones, and other things like that. Even for the debts that you have, that went through the year. Sitting down to say thank you, Lord, for keeping me through it, during the mourning period. There are people who couldn't manage the death of loved one, but you are still here. You are able to still smile despite all of it. I think it's enough to sit down and be thankful to God for. As individuals, maybe you need to make a list of all that God has done for you as a person, and you need to make a list of what God has done for you as a family, and then sit down together. And before you start preparing for Christmas, maybe you should do a Thanksgiving time. Sit down together, eat together, and just sing praise songs, just thank God for all of these wonderful things.
Outline the things that God has done for you.
Yes, a lot of people traveled.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, they traveled several times,
I'm one of them.
I know in my family, almost all of us were on the road at one point or the other, traveling by road, by air, here and there. And, the same place you went through and came back, somebody went through and did not come back.
Yeah, that's
so
very
you
true.
should sit down and look at all of this and say, God, we are thankful. We are thankful for it. Your bank account may not be swollen, but you did not borrow. It's a thing to thank God for. You may not have fat bank account, but you didn't beg for food. It's a thing to thank God for. So stock taking is very important.
And I just would like to remind our viewers, while taking the stock, she's mentioned a lot of things we need to be thankful for. Let's also not forget the spiritual blessings that we have. The fact that we're children of God, the fact that we can pray, we can approach His throne of grace boldly, and the fact that we even have the Word of God to lead and to guide us in our daily encounters with it. And for me, recently I've also been thinking the fact that I can even read the Bible and understand it. And I found out that the more you encounter the Word of God, the more it opens up to you and like, wow. So every time you go through it, new things are coming out. And that's something really to be very thankful for, because if God doesn't help you, you can look at that scripture and it won't make sense to you. But it's the grace of God that we're able to read scripture. It makes sense to us. Okay, still on the issue of Thanksgiving. We've done personal, family, what of churches as a group?
Yeah, as a church, there are several things that we need to thank God for. As denominations, a lot of churches went through so many things. They had to bury a lot of people. They had to, so many
different challenges.
Yes,
and
the challenges,
things that
in
God
the
has
church
also done.
that God helped you through as a church. It's worth thanking God for. I think that's why most churches do Thanksgiving in November.
Okay, so thank God for
yes,
the year.
for their whole year, looking at all that the Lord has done. And if you throw it back, you will discover that Thanksgiving was initiated by famine. Around this period, people are harvesting their crops and they're putting them together, and it's time to put all together and say and pick part of it to go and give thanks to God. And since we're not farmers, maybe through the year God has been faithful to you. As a church, it's time to put things together. I'm thinking maybe as a church we should, if possible, I know it may never be, take one Sunday and say, today we're not doing service here, we're going to the streets to go and share food. We're going to the streets to an orphanage to give them something, whether on a Sunday or a day within the week, so that it's a way of showing appreciation to God as a church for what He has done for you throughout the year.
Yeah. So be deliberate about
Yeah.
giving thanks. So even when as Thanksgivings come up, even for the churches, let it not be a time just to come and wear a new dress, come and dance, but let it be that we're really thankful to God from our hearts.
I don't know. I have a problem with people saying they're doing Thanksgiving and launching. I have a serious problem with that. I'm wondering, you want to thank God for what He has done for you, and you are doing launching. What are you launching?
They're trying to raise money.
Yes, I was sent a card and they wrote on it, Harvest, Thanksgiving and launching. So I was like, what are you launching?
Because it's a day that many people gather together, so they want to use the opportunity to get money for them.
But
I think if we decide to give God a day to thank Him, let's use it to thank God.
And I think churches should begin to thank God as church, not as church with invitations of people from outside. This is our church. This is what God has done for us. As a church, let's come together and thank God. Instead of saying, oh, we have Thanksgiving, then you give envelope, and then people will be going up and down distributing envelope of Thanksgiving. Are you collecting the Thanksgiving of somebody from another church to your church? I don't understand it.
For me,
I feel like it is.
I don't honor those envelopes.
I
tell people not to bother
right,
because I'm not going to put any money. When I want to thank God, I thank God for myself.
Exactly.
When you want to thank God for Him.
Yeah.
Don't join me with your own
say
Thanksgiving.
I should give you money to go and thank God.
No,
if God has done something for me, I should be grateful enough, and that gratitude should inform what I'm going to give to God. It's not what they contributed to me. If I want to do something for the church and I want to seek for help, it's a different thing. But if it is Thanksgiving, let it be Thanksgiving as a church.
But I think the other thing about this Thanksgiving thing is that many times we don't seem to put thought into it.
Yeah.
So I think people should deliberately put thought into it. So when you're sitting down, you're saying you want to thank God. What is it you want to do?
Exactly.
And then if you have now understood that is to appreciate God for what He has done for you, then you also need to think of the things that God has done for you, so that when you are coming out to say you're doing Thanksgiving, in your mind, it's clear to you that I'm thanking God for X, Y, Z,
YZ, yeah.
and I'm appreciative for what He has done.
Yeah.
Instead of, oh, it's just the usual thing we do in our church. Let's just come.
It's the Thanksgiving time, and then like Thanksgiving in America, where it's time to eat turkey.
Yeah, it's time to eat turkey. And then people are no more even they just call it Thanksgiving. Now you're asking people, who are you giving thanks to? They're just thankful.
Yeah, they're
but
just
to
thankful
nobody in
for
particular.
what? And
To
no,
nobody in
they don't
particular,
do
just
nobody.
thankful.
No.
Yeah, but we should be thankful to God, and we should put thought
Yeah.
into it. Okay, yes, ending. We've talked about Thanksgiving, counting your blessings, name them one by one, and thank God for what He has done. What else do we do to end this year well?
Okay, you have entered the year with so much joy and making some pronouncement of all the things you want to do within the year. I think it's also good that now that the year is rolling by, you should take stock.
Yeah, stock taking.
Stock, spiritual stock, financial stock, and maybe family stock, all those stock takings should be
so
done.
let's
start
delve
with
into details. Oh, yeah.
the
Spiritual stock taking. What are the things?
Okay, maybe you have told yourself that, okay, there was some character or some attitude that you want to, in this year, you want to work on. It's time to sit down and look at them.
Whether
How far
it was
have
successful
you gone?
or not.
Yeah. Was there any change? Are you still the way you are, or you have gotten worse? It's time to take stock.
That will not be good.
Yeah.
Too
Yeah,
worse.
some people get worse
I know,
actually.
I
So
know.
it's time for you to take stock of your spiritual self. You started with 2 minutes prayer. Did you continue with 2 minutes prayer? Have you increased the prayer time?
Or
you have even forgot about praying, because so many things have overwhelmed. We have talked about things that have overwhelmed us within the year.
Yeah.
All of these things have overwhelmed you that it's now very difficult for you to even remember to pray. So all of those things, because I know when we enter the new year, especially during crossover, they ask you to make a wish. It's like make a wish for the new year, and we make several of those wishes. So it's time to take stock now. Spiritually, how far have you gone? What is happening to you now? Are you more committed to God? Are you more committed to the church? Are you more committed to the things of God? Or everything now you are just like that. The year has overwhelmed you to the point that you have forgotten every other thing that you need to key into. All right.
That's our spiritual life.
Yeah, and then you have the financial. I know that this year, like we said, was hard, but I know that you had financial expectation, I hope you are not one of those who plan your budget on people's pockets. But
that's
that
terrible.
you look at what will come in for you, and you have planned with it, and then take stock of, okay, this thing you were expecting to come in, these finances, did you get more or less? And what can you do to improve? All right, and then if more came in, how were you able to manage it so that you were not wasteful? Sometimes you have a budget, you have a plan that, okay, within the year, I know as a salary earner, my salary is 100,000. I know that every month I will get 100,000. And then within the year, something happened, and maybe you did a project, and ₦1 million came in. And because ₦1 million came in, oh my God, you just went on a spending spree. You did whatever, all those things, and now that you're sitting there and looking, you ask yourself, was it necessary that you had to do all those things? Was it actually beneficial to you as a person and to your family? Because we're talking about family. This is a family TV. Was this thing necessary for you to have to do? Okay, and so what if that money didn't come? What would your life have been like? So those are the things that you need to take stock of financially. You need to look at your budget. What was adjusted? What did you bring in? What did you remove?
What worked and what didn't work?
What didn't work? What is remaining right now that you need to, look at again and okay, they I don't know what the accounting people call it. I think it's like reevaluate or something, to look at it again and say, okay, maybe
You
I
need to
was
adjust
too,
something.
yes, I was too, I didn't understand what budgeting is. I think it's time, okay. Or maybe the things that came in overwhelmed your financial stand, and so there was a strain on your finance. Now it's time to look at it again. What did we do wrong? What did we do right? What can we do better?
Were we able to save? I remember that because
yeah.
Professor Madu had talked to us here about
Yeah.
how to budget and how to spend money. Maybe we'll do it again, but we need to look at it and say, have we saved? Have we
This
invested?
year,
Have we done
yes.
anything?
And
that we need to do?
saving and investment is something you have to do consciously and with intentionally. Saving doesn't happen like that. I think that's why some people tie their finance to cooperatives and all that, because that removing the money by yourself to go and save it is
Will be a
wahala.
problem.
So you have gone to sign a paper that, please, before you give
From
me my
source,
salary,
they should remove
remove
it.
so amount.
Yeah.
But another side to that is that some of these persons have given the go ahead for these monies to be removed, and these monies have been removed, but then again they go back and take loans upon loans upon loans on top of the money that they
are supposed to be
claim to be saving. I think that's not wise. It's not wise. Hold yourself. I told people, I say, you see, the only thing I can buy on credit is food. If I'm hungry and I'm really hungry and I don't have any money, I can go and say, please give me food. I would. But all these other things, maybe health, because that one
is usually unbudgeted for.
Yes, unbudgeted for. But every other thing you can do without. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. You're not in competition with anybody, so that you'll be looking at, oh, my dresses, if they are old, so what? Wash them, iron them, reshape them, and they become new again, and you are good to go. So look at your finances within the year. How have you fared? Was it prudent? Have you been wasteful? Even in the food in the house, what happened? I was telling my children, I said, people are reducing in the house. So, because my daughter made food, made semo, and it was so plenty. So I was saying to her, so what are we going to do with the balance? We don't have a dog. And I said to her, so we'll pack it and put it in the freezer. Somebody can say, mommy, warm food. I say, you will warm it though, and you will eat it. Because we cannot throw it away. So even food, have you find out how to
Did we
manage your food? I remember one of our daddy was saying there's a time within the year that he would tell everybody, between now and the next 1 week, we're going to eat everything in the freezer. We have lumped a lot in the freezer. It's time to start eating them. So if you say you don't want to eat freezer thing, to hunger, you will sign an agreement with hunger. I think it's part of planning, taking stock of within the year. How have you fared in such things? Have you been throwing food away because somebody gave you food, so you have plenty food in your store? If you think that you have so much food, give to those
people
who are hungry.
who need. So this stock taking now, to what intent? We take the stock, then what?
You take stock so that you don't, like we said, you are not wasteful, and you'll be able to plan ahead, and you'll be able to save for rainy days, because we can never be sure of when it will happen.
So so when we take stock of how we have fared in different areas in the past year, I think the information we get should help us in planning for the next year. So that if you are not doing well, you have to begin to change some things at home that you need to work on or to improve. Okay. What else? So still on stock taking, I think we've talked about it before, but it would also help if we have our family meetings. Families, I think towards the end of the year, we should all gather together and do this stock taking together, aside from the individual ones. That because I think it helps, you know.
So that the children will even know what is happening, you
Yeah.
know, instead of seeing that daddy doesn't care, mommy doesn't care. Now they know that this is the money that came in within the year. This is the ABCD we did. This is the one we've been able to keep. This is the one that, you know, this is where we failed. I think we should open up that within the year, children, we failed in this area and in this area. We should work towards it so that we don't repeat this kind of failure again. It's part of stock taking if we are working with the children.
Okay. So you talk to each other, ask questions, give feedback, and I hope we're all willing to take feedbacks that come. I remember one of the family meetings we had in my house. When we got some feedback, when I got some feedback from the children, I got angry and they started scolding. The meeting ended with me scolding. No, they didn't talk now, but I was now scolding, you know, because they said they didn't like some things that I did in the year, and I was now trying to excuse what I did.
Okay,
because
that's
because it was them. I told them they were the ones that made me behave like that.
Like that.
And then from there I took off. I now started scolding, and it was because of the scolding they talked about. I now entered another round of scolding, and that's how the meeting ended. But I'm better now, and I don't do that anymore. But I was so upset with them, and I kept talking and talking and talking, and the meeting just, there was nothing else to say because everybody now kept quiet. They weren't willing to say anything again because I kept scolding.
Well, okay, as you take stock in the family, so you take stock of your attitude too.
Yeah.
How have you fared attitude-wise within the year? How have you responded to your spouses? How have you, is there a place where you have neglected your spouses within the year? You know, and maybe you didn't even know. As you sit to talk, 1, 2, 3 things will come up and say, I didn't even know, you know, baby.
So that the following year you are now more intentional.
You are more intentional. And the children, have you overlooked a lot of things that you are supposed to be involved in with them? Maybe because of your schedules or because of all the overwhelming things that came within the year. So you have just hardened up, and you know, so now children are saying, daddy or mommy, oh, look at it, this is what the year was, and we're not very happy this year because of 1, 2, 3 that you did. It's time to look at it. So taking stock as a family, when you go beyond finances, you take stock of your your attention towards each other and all.
And I think we should also have things written. Like in my house now, we have a secretary. We have a secretary. One of the children is the secretary. We elect somebody as the secretary, and then when we come again for meeting, we read the minutes of the previous meeting. So sometimes when they read the minutes, they are reminded about issues that were raised, and it also helps you check whether you did the things that we decided we would do or won't do. So we elect secretary, but the chairman is constant. He's the guy of the house. It's my husband that is the chairman.
One of the problems with family meeting is that parents, including myself, find it difficult to take in all that the children want to say.
But we have to learn.
You are the one that initiated the family meeting. You are the one that said, you can speak your mind, open up. And then the children, they are going to open up because the children don't know how to hide anything. You have told them to open up. They are going to open up. Please, when they are opening up, let us hold ourselves. Let's be patient. It's not easy.
Because they're going like me the first time.
It is going to be like speaking to you the way you did not want them to speak. Yeah, it's not like they are disrespecting you. You are the one that asked them to open up. So at that point of the meeting, within the ending of the year, please, parents, I beg us, let us accept the dart that they will throw at us, and even if we are pained, let's prayerfully ask God to help us see what to do. You know, sometimes you may have to talk to a particular child one-on-one, you know, after the meeting, you know, so that some issues can be resolved. Because some children may be bitter throughout the year, but because you are a parent, they are just looking at you. They don't talk.
One of our meetings, one of the children raised about parents not caring, and I didn't know where that came from. So it really bothered me. I was like, what is going on here? She said she has said her own. So I had to take
Look
the
at
child
it,
aside
yes. Yeah,
and ask what really is going on.
exactly.
And finally, she opened up, and things I hadn't noticed, I didn't know
You
had
see?
happened. She brought them out. Well, God has helped me.
Yeah.
God has helped me, but it's good to pay attention to what the children are
Yeah.
saying and not get upset.
Mm.
It would help us to
Yes.
do better the following year.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a way to end the year well, to talk about these things, so that the children don't grow up going with some of these bottled emotions and pain. Sometimes the children want to talk, but no time, no chance. So if you have some of these family meetings, it's time for the children to talk.
And to improve.
Yeah. Parents,
following year.
please, I know it's not easy, I know, but please, just help, just listen to them, just let them. It's once in a year, so let them say what they have to say. When you listen to them, you'll be able to help. Not just them, you'll be able to help yourself. Because this is human relation. Some of you relate very well with young people outside, but the young people living in your house, you are not relating well with them.
Yeah.
I think it is because they are my children, so.
But charity should begin at home now.
So let's allow the children to speak their mind. Let's listen. Let's not get upset. I know we had a family meeting once, and for 3 weeks my husband was not himself. Because
the children
said a lot of things. I saw myself too going to pray for help, to God. So these things are not easy, but it will help it will help you to grow a healthy family. The children will grow up knowing that daddy listens, the mommy listens, that even if they say it, mommy will adjust, daddy will adjust. If there are some issues that you have to stand your ground, it's also time to say it, not in anger.
Yeah.
That you see, this 1, 2, 3, we can't shift ground. We love you as our children, but you see, concerning this matter, we cannot shift ground. Can't move. So these are the issues we're taking up, and when you do that, you grow up a healthy home. Children will come up, and you give children opportunity to also be able to talk outside. Because when they want to talk at home, you shush them. You want to talk, you shush them. When they get outside, I know a young man once told me that he doesn't know how to talk to adults because throughout his life, he was never allowed to speak to any adult. So we were running a program, and he was to help me pick things. So I gave him my car, and I said, go to the house. I said, who is in the house? I said, my husband. He was like, I cannot go, ma. I was like, there's nothing there. Now just go. When you go, greet him and tell him, Daddy, mommy sent me to pick so and so that I cannot talk to him, ma. I've never spoken to an adult. But I was sure. This guy is about 20-something. So he is not a child. So I was wondering, so there are children who cannot talk to their parents. Because children learn to talk to adults from talking to their parents,
So family meeting in. We need to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, other things that we need to do to end the year well. I want something I think we need to do. Debts. Things people you are owing.
Please.
People you are
Let's
owing.
try and clear our debts. Let's try. I know it's not easy. I know that the funds are not coming maybe the way we expect them. Maybe we should owe less. If we must owe, let's owe less. If we must owe, let's owe less, so that we can clear it before the year ends.
So let's pay off our debt.
Yes.
And if truly you've borrowed money and it's becoming very difficult to pay, and it's looking like you may not be able to pay, I think you should speak to your debtors.
To the person.
Yes,
Yeah.
talk to them, tell them what is going on, and don't avoid them, because that's what some people do. You're owing somebody, and then you start avoiding the person. The person calls you, you don't pick his calls. You just, you're just being a very difficult person, and that's not good. So please pay up. Pay up.
When we're talking about owing, I'm looking at us, women, those of us who love to buy things on credit. please,
That's not a very good habit,
let's
actually.
minimize this buying. Must you even buy? I remember there's a lady who used to give me clothing. One of the reasons why she loves to bring clothing to me is she said among all those who buy from her that I'm the only one who doesn't keep her money. And even when I pick 1, 2, 3 clothes and I don't have money to pay, I tell her, keep it with you.
Until you receive the
The
cash.
day I pay you, I'll pick my clothes. She will say, no, I trust you. I say, don't trust me, because even though I trust that I will pay, but anything can happen.
Oh, yes.
If I'm not around tomorrow, who is going to pay your money? So keep these things with you. The day I finish paying up, I'll come and pick my things. Please save me so that I can sleep well. Because if I don't pay, after 1 or 2 months, you can sell off your thing. I'm not. So that I think we can adopt strategies, I know we want to wear clothes, we want to look good, but let's adopt strategies that will help us to minimize debt if we must owe at all.
Yeah, I think, and that one of those things would be only, as I say, cut and cut according to our material.
Yes. Yeah.
And only concentrate on your needs.
Yeah.
Don't go for wants when you don't have money. Yeah, go for needs. And plan your life according to your income. Don't live above your income. Okay, so debts. Let's settle debts before
the year runs out. Settle your debts, please. Settle your debts. Don't go and borrow shatu to settle your debts.
If you borrow, then you have started a new debt now. That's a new one. That's a new one that is still pending.
And don't try to impress anybody. As the year is folding, don't look for a way of impressing anybody. Whatever you have. One lady told me that she borrowed money to buy souvenir for a particular wedding. And I'm like, why? The person is related to them, and the place where she's working now, if she doesn't do something, they'll be saying, a whole you that is. I said, so what you're saying is that you want to impress them at your own detriment. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't. So please.
So let's not accrue new debts.
Yes.
Pay off the old ones and don't get new ones before the year is coming to an end. Because yes, Christmas is coming. Many weddings are going on. Don't do new ones. What else can we do?
I think we have exhausted almost everything within the year. And we've talked about character, we've talked about finance, we've talked about children, relating with children better. And within the year, have you looked at yourself? Have you improved maybe mentally, maybe education? Have you done something? Did you have
yourself?
Yes, did you have a plan that, this year I'm going to finish my master's, or I'm going to start a program, or I'm going to go on with a program? How have you fared within the year?
Self-improvement things. Books you said you would read. How many have you
read?
Courses you said you will attend. How many have you
done? Yeah.
Have you done?
Those are some of the things we need to look at so that we can now work on doing better next year. Yeah. Take stock of those things too.
Okay. And then spiritual things. We didn't. The people, missionaries, you said we were going to support.
Did you do it?
Did we do it this year? If we didn't, what is our plan for next year? The people we're going to share the gospel with.
Yeah.
How many did we share the gospel with? How many did we plan to share the gospel with? The people we wanted to, did we pray for them? If we didn't, what's our plan? What's the next step?
Even as a civil servant, how have I improved in my place of work?
Everybody should improve.
I'm a teacher, for instance. Am I teaching better than I used to teach before? Are my students, do they want to attend my class? Yeah, I shouldn't be. Maybe even if that was me before, is there any change now within this year? Have I improved?
I think everybody.
Are you still using your
old
notes?
I've not
that you
upgraded
prepared when you started teaching in 1950.
Yeah, you have not upgraded your nose.
Yeah.
I think as Christians, we should be deliberate about improving ourselves all the time.
Yeah.
You can't be the same all the time. You should be a better version of yourself
Yeah.
all the time. But of course, yourself is not the final version we're looking at.
Yeah.
Jesus, being like Jesus is what it should be, but you should be getting better and better. So I think Christians should be deliberate about looking for things that will get you. You may not necessarily, it's not necessarily going back to school,
Yeah.
but there are books to read, there are courses to attend.
In fact, on your
There are
phone,
online things to
you can
you know
do.
so much you can
Yeah.
do to improve the output of your work. Even your platform where God has placed you, you must be, better at it. I think that's what I think this morning my devotion I read about Daniel again, and from the living translation was what I used this morning to look at the story of Daniel. And the requirements that the king wanted were, aside from good-looking boys, there were some people who were supposed to be physically fit, who were well-read
Well-read.
and knowledgeable. And it just dawned on me again this morning that, look, if I want to be in the place where God wants me to be, where God can use me more effectively, as to say, I have also a role to play, and that is to improve myself, to be able to be in that place where God can
Because
use me.
God is not going to use you because there's nobody around. He didn't find anybody. You are just available, and He's going to use somebody who is available and prepared.
So I realized that, yes, we as Christians need to always prepare ourselves for God to use us in that sphere that He wants us to use. So if you are a teacher like us, and you are not a good teacher, we are not improving the way we teach, we are not current, after a while, you may not be relevant again
Of course.
in the academia, and God will use someone else
Yeah.
who is available and willing to be used by God. So Christians, we need to look at it,
Yeah.
whether you have built yourself up,
Yeah.
and if you haven't, to make sure it
Even
happens.
if you are just a market woman, you are selling your market wares,
there are
and
ways to sell things
you
better.
can improve on it. There are ways to do these things so that you'll be better. What has happened in your shop this year? Is it just business as usual? Have you done anything that has attracted more people to your shop this year? I think it is also important. Even if you are selling tomatoes, is there a way you have packaged them that it's
Better.
now better than what it used to be? You know, the woman I buy tomatoes from, when I first started buying tomatoes from her, I know she just used to put a table. Then I noticed that she built around the table. And this year I noticed that she has put zinc. You know, she has gone from tomatoes. She's now selling yams. She's selling potatoes. She's growing. She's growing. You can't stay in one place. You know, so you need to look at the year and look at what you are doing within the year. Is there any difference? Is it the same thing over the years? You are still standing in the same position, no improvement, nothing.
So she
So
takes
that
stock about where
yes,
you
you
demand
don't
to
look
improve.
at it as if when we're saying you should improve, you say, these educated people. No, even if you are not, you are not educated, this woman, apart from that, she told me that she went for a training, you know, to improve herself, you know, and I was very happy, you know, when I heard all the things she was discussing with me. She's selling tomatoes, you know, and she's not educated, if you like, but here she is. She's working on herself. She's getting better. In fact, she opened a small portion for her daughter to be cutting all these vegetables for people. She said since the girl finished school, secondary school, and she's applied for university and the thing is not coming, she said, okay, take this money, go to the market, buy vegetable and start cutting it, wash it properly and package it. And people have been patronizing the girl. She said, any money you make is your own. Give me my capital. And, you know, so it's within the same space.
Okay, so we must be deliberate to try to improve ourselves. Okay, human relationships. Those who have been quarreling
within the year, have you increased your clique of enemies or you have reduced them?
So for me, I think if we have had issues with people and we have not been able to settle, or we have not been deliberate about settling, I think as the year is coming to an end, we should
find a way to sort it out.
The Bible says, as much as lies within you, be at peace with all men. And it also says that if you are taking your gift to the altar, and remember that your brother has an ought against you, go and make it right. Drop the gift and go and make it right. This is something you should have done since you noticed it, but since we decided not to do it until now.
Now it's
I
ending.
think
Yes,
it's a
ending.
good time.
Don't carry grudge into the
let's
next
not
year.
get into the new year with issues. Let's settle with in different ways. We've not talked about settling. Have we talked about settling problems here before? I think maybe we'll take one day to talk about how to settle problems, because people seem to have issues in their different relationships. But I think we shouldn't go into the new year with trouble. We should end.
You know, talking about settling issues, all this issue of don't worry, it's over. I think you need to bring out what is hurting you, you know, so that it will come out of you. You don't leave it inside.
So have a discussion.
And
I think it helps you even be a better person.
Yes, especially those who are. Some people are in quote wanting to settle people, and they are like, two of you,
just
I want to shake hands and hug yourself, and let bygone be bygone. Let us forget about the past.
I personally don't.
If you don't understand the past, you won't even know where you have hurt somebody to be able to sort it out. Please, if somebody has hurt you, say it. Even if the person does not want to settle with you, but bring it out, not in anger. Just
at least the person has heard. It's now up to the person to decide
whether he wants to sort out things with you or not. Yeah.
Because I think just burying it and pretending it didn't happen or just sweeping it away, for me, it doesn't help me grow and be a better person. At least if I know that maybe in a particular way I talked or something I have said, has upset somebody, I'll learn. Next time, I know that these things upset people. I may not see anything wrong with it, but I found out that people are upset when I talk in this way. So I shouldn't talk in that way to make people. So I think it helps people to get better than to just sweep. Like somebody had told me before that I offended her. She didn't tell me what I did. As to date, I don't know what I did. But she said she has forgiven me. She has forgiven me, but she didn't tell me what I did. And I'm like, how do you forgive me for something
I don't even know
what I did? Till now, I don't even know what I did. But she says she has forgiven me. So I don't think I became a better person from that encounter, because till I don't know what I did.
And if you don't know what you did, it's not easy for you to stop doing it. So when you tell somebody this is what you did wrong, this is what you did wrong, and the person is able to ask, oh, sorry, I did. Maybe the person didn't even see it as an offense, but when you bring it up to the person, he's able to go through it and say, oh, now I know what I'm sorry, and you'll be able to walk through it.
Okay, they say it's time to wrap up before they sweep us out of here with a broom. So viewers, we've talked about ending the year well, and we've talked about taking stock, settling your debts, settling your family issues, settling relationship issues, the people you are. Mrs. Namo said whether your enemy circle is increasing or decreasing. Please, let's decrease enemy circle. We shouldn't even have enemies. So please, let's sort out all these things before the year runs out. Assess whether you have done well or you haven't done well, so that you can begin to plan for the year ahead. And then we raise the issues of family meetings. Let's allow our children to talk too. Let's talk as a family, whether we're doing well, whether we're not doing well, and what we need to do to get better. And let's also look at our finances. Did we do well? Did we overspend? Did we save? Did we live within our means? Or we have made ourselves bigger debtors than before? So let's look at all these things, and let's wrap the things that are wrappable. Finish them up. Let's sort every issue out before the year runs out, so that we start the new year on a new slate. So thank you, viewers, for being with us till the very end. Mrs. Namo, thank you for your, as they say, wealth of wisdom that you brought into this conversation.
Thank you very
God bless
much,
you.
viewers.
And viewers, please, let's not just be hearers, but let's also do what we have heard and be better people by the time we're stepping into the new year. God bless you, and we look forward to seeing you again, same time, same place, Equa Television, at the living room. God bless you, and let's keep shining for Jesus. Bye.
Bye.